Are we on?
We are live, and no one's watching because they got better things to do on a Friday afternoon at 3:00.
Pressure's off.
But we haven't. Yeah, no pressure. Maybe I'll just press record and we'll just upload this as a video. Welcome back, Ed Laverack, to Backpedal Training Coaching Plan Chats.
Hello. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm tired. I'm actually going out for a ride later.
A bike ride.
A bike ride. First time since your visit, I think, to Exmoor.
People visiting you obviously do you some good.
Yeah, that's it. It's the only time. Yeah, hopefully Piglet doesn't destroy my confidence when we go out in a minute. So Craig W's here. Icarus John. Well, what is that? How you say it? One chorus, John. How do you pronounce it, John? It's all these things you just read in your head normally on Discord and stuff. It's pressure's back on. People's here. Afternoon, gents. Hope you're both well. Ed's looking very fresh. I need a haircut and a shave, so you're looking very cool with your back facing hat.
Ow!
In West Philadelphia.
That's
a good point, John. So today we are going to talk about Paul Boreham.
Yeah, Paul. So he's one of the first ones to get on a plan, wasn't he? And did a spectacular job of, well, voicing his opinion on some of the sessions. I think, like, most days I was getting like an Instagram notification. Paul's tagged us in X workout, and well, it was great to see. Wasn't it, really?
Isn't a necessity, but we do appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Paul was doing that on Instagram, but there was lots of people doing it on like Strava, on Discord as well. People were like, "Oh, I'm just about to do this workout," and someone was like, "Oh, I did that last week," and there was like lots of comments flying left, right, and center. So I had my fingers crossed, like at all times, that people wouldn't go like, "That was too hard," or "That was." Well, in fact, nobody said it's too easy yet.
No, nobody has said it's too easy, have they? No. So I've had a few messages from Bullet. Well, obviously, this is the good thing about going. You're going to pull up Paul's page, aren't you, and go through his training and just see how much he improved on his FTPs. These training plans are more than just a number. So if you don't improve your FTP, there can be other gains. I guess the success of a training plan shouldn't be judged on an FTP test.
Exactly. And I was fully expecting that some people wouldn't see an improvement, because some of the plans are, well, so short really that it depends more on what you did prior to getting the plan sometimes than what you did on the plan. I think some people were starting to realize that maybe the plans are somewhat quite low in volume for the majority of people, and they were querying that as to, like, what do I do the rest of the time? And I would more often than not say zone 1, zone 2. But because it was the people that were following it to the word, they seemed to get fresher. But as we'll see a little bit with Paul, to a certain extent, he was increasing his training load, whether or not that be because his training load was relatively small to begin with, and this was increasing it. But some people haven't seen an increase in training load per se, because the plan has been quite low in volume, but there has been the intensity there. And I think we sometimes lose perspective when we talk about like progression or progressive overload. And we always have in our heads like the CTL or like fitness, we're like, oh, that number always has to be going up. But it's not necessarily the case, because if you're doing new sessions that you've never done before, which a lot of people are on these plans, that in itself is a progression. And you can sometimes forget that that is a basic progression. It's not like a, oh, I'm increasing X hours a week, or I'm increasing by X TSS a week. It's quite simply doing different training sessions or sessions you've never done before. So yeah, have you got anything to say before we start?
No, not really. Just obviously, it's nice to, obviously we've had the first few people there, and you can see a few people. John and Katie have joined in the chat. They've been on the plans, and I think Katie's on the second one. We're gonna give those guys a bit of a discount for if they do have another one. So it's nice to see that they're over the moon with the plans, and happy to buy another one and continue and sharing how much they're enjoying them. So obviously we knew they're good. And I can't wait to get back on starting. I've got a week of consistent riding before I start mine. Ed won't let me start another plan without a week in my legs. So Kev said he wants to see my training peak. So
no, it would break my computer, Kev. I was going to say, I can't see comments. So if you pick up anything,
okay. So
comment-wise.
John said here, because of the timing, my plan was based on eWorld FTP. So,
the estimated FTP.
In my case, I was doing the plan outside, so there had to be a bit of ODF adjustment on the fly out.
Yeah,
ODF.
on the fly. Yeah. Sounds
Outdoor
like it, on the fly.
Assume, John, you can put us right there. So. You can't see the comment, can you? Say,
well, John was leaving comments in Discord, and yeah, more often than not, some people had to kind of not twist it to suit them, but just adapt to if the weather was good or the weather could have been bad, and you could have had a headwind throughout your whole ride. It's a funny thing, like with estimated FTP, in a sense that you don't have to do an FTP test at the start of this plan or during the plan, because if you end up doing an effort or a session that requires like an effort that you've never done before, that could update that anyway. A lot of people are using that intervals.icu website, see, which estimates FTP for you. It also connects to Strava if anybody's watching this. And well, actually, if somebody's watching this in 5 years' time, you might have to pay for intervals.icu by then. Because that was a thing people were talking about with this plan, or most of the plans have got FTP tests at the start. It's only there as like a bit of a comfort blanket thing. Like if you are insured, some people go for like months and months without even pushing themselves or getting close to that number or anything like that. So it's there if you need it, sort of thing. And with today's modern technology, you sometimes can probably get away with not needing it at all.
This is a whole section. This is probably a whole video because we're going to go into bring up some of Paul's stuff, Paul's workouts and how he's improved over time. So, but Chris Baylor says, "Sell me your plan over Trainer Road, please, Ed." Or Ed, please. That isn't a 2-minute conversation. So,
if you're asking that question, you're probably already edging towards Trainer Road.
Sorry, no. Yeah, no, it's a good question, and I think
can't give you
you're
the
not going to
answer.
slate stuff. Yeah, you're not.
Can't give you the answer because everybody's different. What I dislike is when people say that works, that doesn't work, or I'm going to go there because of X, Y, and Z, and somebody says, "Oh, Polarized is the best. Threshold is terrible." I just, to me, I've been riding for so long. I've been training for so long. I've watched people train. What did I hear? I was listening to a podcast the other day. Actually, the swim coach of Adam Peaty. Is it Adam Peaty?
Yeah, the Olympian.
The Olympian. And his coach said, you have 2 years and one mouth for a reason, and you should listen twice as much as you speak. And saying that as a coach, I was like, it's funny how we sometimes forget to, like, we can watch other coaches or we can watch other athletes. I spent like 8 or 9 years, mainly because I was quite shy, like listening and watching to all these other experienced riders were doing that when I was on teams and stuff. And you pick up on a lot of stuff just by doing that, and everything works. It just depends what you enjoy. If you enjoy that flexibility of a training plan versus one-to-one coaching, you'll always go for a training plan versus one-to-one coaching. And more often than not, I think you're supporting something as well, and you've got to want to support that. I think it's a two-way thing, isn't it? Not
yeah, because I was on Trainer Road, and I still am on Trainer Road because I joined it when I've still paid the grandfathered price. So before they had about 8 different price rises, Paul uses Trainer Road as well, Paul Borum. So he's actually ordered. That was one of the first little things I helped him out with. It's like, how do I want to do? He does his FTP test on Trainer Road, and he wanted to know how can we get the Backpedal plan riding through Trainer Road. So that was quite interesting, I guess, from his point of view. Well, and we'll ask him as well. I asked him if we could share some of his Trainer Road stats, and he was more than happy. So, but yeah, we'll probably ask him. And I sort of see.
Can I stop you there just for a second? It's funny how you use that as an example, because we have an Amazon Prime subscription. We also have a Netflix subscription. We also have a Disney Plus subscription. Like, those 3 things are exactly the same thing, but you get different things on them.
Yeah.
Now, that means that there's nothing to say that you can be on Trainer Road and train right, which is like Chris Carmichael, is kind of old school now, but like still has the same type of stuff. Dig Deep coaching. You got all of these, and it's like you can have a bit of everything. Like, you can try something out there. You can be a couple of months there. You can like try a training plan from this, and I'm always pushing people to like try and learn and educate, and like take a bit from maybe this and apply it to something there, or take a bit from somewhere else, and you form then your own little idea of like what you think like high performance would be, or just fun would be on your bike. What have you forgotten what you were going to say now? Because I've gone.
Well, just going back to the Trainer Road thing, like I say, I felt that because I pay so little for it a month compared to if you started now, how much it would be per month. It's almost like I was then using it. What I really liked about Trainer Road was their sort of Training Peaks-esque graph, and their best, because you could break it down into seasons very easily and do your best stats, and you can break it down. And so you could take sections, create sections from like the last 3 years and do pre-season, whatever you chose, like your mid-season. You could compare your mid-season for the last 3 years, and it made it really easy to see where your PBs are, and where that was a really funky tool, which potentially you could do in Trainer Road. A bit tricky to do it. What I was going to say is that I felt that, and I've got to cancel it because I'm not using it. So, and I haven't used it for a while. But I felt, even when I wasn't using the plans, I felt that was almost like a Patreon fee that I was paying to get their podcast every week. That's where I sort of felt like I was almost supporting them, because I wasn't using the plans, I wasn't using the software, apart from maybe looking at those PB things, which again is pointless to have Trainer Road just for that. But yeah, I felt I was getting enough benefits from actually almost. I would pay that much to have access to the. Obviously, the price now is different to what I am paying now, and they're quite good with being grandfathered in, and not people that have always been on that. If I stop now for a month, continue next month, I'd be paying 3 times as much potentially per month. So, and I pay it up front for a year. So, Yes, Chris says, yeah, the podcast is nearly as good as these, the Training Road podcast. So, but it is that kind of thing, isn't it? And I think, obviously, this is a bit behind the scenes and everything. And me and Ed have got some plans, but me and Ed have booked some accommodation for the National Hill Climb Championship. Not
National Hill Climb Champion, yeah. Thank you.
Through that, and we. That would be good. We'll have to cut this bit out. Someone put a timestamp in. Just remind me when Ed's National Hill Climb Champion, if he ever does it again. And we'll come back. I've booked the accommodation. I've pre-booked it. So it's stuff like that, and we've paid for that accommodation through the Backpedal training plans, and we've got other stuff other than plans, and we want to. Obviously, even with my stuff now, I don't know if you know, care or interested, any of those. I've started obviously trying to teach people a bit of YouTube and a bit of design software on that. And we're going to come together under Backpedal, and we're potentially going to start running a few courses and doing that side of things as well. So there's plenty of scope with Backpedal that we want to bring you. And I've just had a chat with Robbie, the merch man, earlier. We've got caps, we've got sweatbands that we're looking into. So there's all different things we're looking into with Backpedal. And I think it's almost like you're getting a great training program, and you're also supporting the cause. And we haven't got a Patreon for Backpedal, but it's stuff like that where I think we want to start looking at stuff where we can invest that money that's going to come in. We're going to treat it like a business. So if there's any Casey Neistat fans, Backpedal is going to be mine and Ed's 368. That's what I see it like.
Well said.
Yeah. So you are supporting a bigger cause than just putting money into a training plan and getting a training plan back. And and this is the idea with these training chats. We want to be more open and do more of these, and hopefully like the little giveaway we did in the week and stuff. So shall we get on to Paul Borum?
Good shout, yeah.
Yeah, because we're 17 minutes into this live stream, and I've got Piglet downstairs as well, guys. Piglet's downstairs. So if you wanna know what actually Piglet sounds like, not when he's filming Phil Lovett, go over to my behind the scenes vlog. Paul Hamblett, that is, to anyone that doesn't know. I can hear him talking to Nat now. They're probably watching.
Yeah, well, they haven't commented yet.
No, they haven't. I can hear them talking about, once Piglet gets on and Nat get on talking about stretching. Wow. what those two people don't know about flexibility. So I'm going to pass the screen over to Ed. There we go. So do you want to
take it away?
Yeah, so Paul joined, if you want to fill us in which training plan Paul selected, and bearing in mind as well, which is what I really appreciate with the first people going through, Katie, John, Paul, Sheldon, loads of people, Bullet, is keeping that consistency through a heat wave and making improvements through that as well, and being very dedicated. So Paul's from Exeter as well, by the way, so he's hopefully going to come back for a little ride at some point. So if anyone wants to come for a ride with me and Paul, we'll do that. So over to you, Ed. What are we looking at? What is this? What is this Training Peaks?
Yeah, if only you knew.
I've lost my login.
It's yeah. Like keep it like pretty informal, like a chat. But basically, if I leave this page now, I have to keep scrolling back to find the calendar, the 1st of June. So I'm going to stay on this page just for a second, but I will go over to Paul's dashboard. If there's any questions, specific questions regarding whatever you see here, then fire away. But Paul,
sorry, Ed, so you can't see the comments. So if I see a good comment, just read it out. Is that right?
Yeah,
okay, cool.
Punch me. Paul was on the mixed build, medium volume, so that was about 6-7 hours a week. I know for a fact that he did more than that, mainly because when people have more time, they generally will add more zone 1, zone 2 time. Now, I think Paul is coming back from a little bit of time off, if you want to call it that, there is a little gap in kind of training volume, or there's a fair drop in it at least. And when he started, well, you can see there's like 5 days or 6 days if you come to golf. But there's no kind of with this plan, there's no breaking you in gently, so to speak. As you can see, the first session was a threshold session. If you were coming back from a bit of a layoff, which granted this was only like a couple of days, the perceived effort for a session like that would be, well, it could potentially be quite high, but it can go either way because you could be quite fresh. You could be chomping at the bit to get that done. But what Paul did was move things around to fit in with his week. So you can see there's a couple of things in your like golf. There's a trip with the Exeter on Thursday. So it was important that he was flexible with it, and I still do. I cannot stress how you need to adopt flexibility to not flexibility as in stretching, flexibility as in like to your week or training block. Like there's a great interview with Jason Kenny recently. It seems to be a theme with a lot of like top level athletes, and bizarrely, it's not. It kind of it speaks to everybody because we're all busy people. We're all like working or we've got families or whatever. But for a full-time athlete to say, oh no, I don't really bother about like planning my training. I just kind of wake up, I have a coffee in the morning, and then I think, oh, I might fancy do a couple of sprints, or I might fancy doing this, that. A threshold session. And there's a lot to be said for stuff like that, like being very flexible or being quite laid back about it, especially when you hit the bump in the road, which a couple of people have on these plans. It hasn't been like smooth sailing. They've had to drop us a message and say like, oh, I've got injured, or like I've missed the first 2 weeks. Someone actually missed I can't even remember how much it was now, but it was like almost 85% of the plan they missed, and we've had to troubleshoot that. But it's for like 1 session, 2 sessions, it's pretty easy to swap and change during the week, and that's what a lot of people have been doing. And like some of the sessions are, as I say, because this is a mixed plan, we have well, it goes without saying there is a mixture of efforts. But if I go onto Paul's dashboard, so I'm going to lose my spot on that calendar now as soon as we go over here, we have this little dip, which is the time off, and it kind of appears here as well, but it's not as significant. This is TSS by week, and this is the start of the plan. So I started the plan about here, and it lasts till about here. You can see the increase in volume, or TSS rather, but you can see over here the increase in the CTL number. It's kind of even, like the whole time. There's no time where he's going like particularly deep. You wouldn't say he's fresh at any point during the plan, but he's also not, or potentially not, absolutely pinging, not going like really, really well. Now, the idea with like these plans is there is a like an easier week, right in the middle of the plan. However, there are a number of ways you can define easy week. So if you look at Paul's training here, he does 2 weeks on the plan, and this week is considerably less. Can I inflate this? Yeah. So this week is considerably less than, these weeks and these 2 weeks here that really kick off the plan. So you could say, if the plan was 6 weeks or 8 weeks, he actually had his rest week there. If you look at it relatively speaking with the rest of it, you can see intensity factor. You have to, bearing in mind this isn't one-to-one coaching, this is a training plan. So I'm looking at this with somewhat of a very broad view. Like, I'm not Paul, so I wouldn't be able to say for certain, what happened or how things planned out. But the high intensity factor could be a result of a lower FTP number than he is actually at. Okay. Of course, we don't know this for sure, but bearing in mind some of these are super high, and again, not looking back, could be down to Zwift racing, or could be down to some absolute, like, really high intensity interval sessions. As you can see, like, the plan is fairly mediocre in terms of, like, when you look at the whole week, and that's, to me, that's crucial, because it's not like a magic pill or something. It's not like this training plan will not get you, like, from 300 watt FTP to 350 watt FTP. If anything, I'd want it to build consistency into your routine, and then you might take something from that and you might create your own training plan, or you might come back and get a new training plan. But what it does create is consistency over the time period.
And just when you say that, like, you might make your own training plan, if you are on Training Peaks Premium, you can drag all of your training plans around. I know Bullet did that and had a few days off when he was sort of building up to a big sportif and stuff. So you've got the workouts there to then potentially put your own little training plan together, which is why, it's a good thing to go for premium anyway. There's other benefits, but you, on the basic account, you can't shift that around. So the plan's in there, which is why you'd need to contact us if you are injured or anything like that. Just contact us and we'll work through that kind of stuff. Just to so if you're on basic, you can't move it. So if you're on basic and on this plan, you can't drag them around.
Well, yeah, and on that note, even though I'm showing Paul's calendar, don't think that we're showing you the plan as it actually is, because, like, funny enough, as I said, people are flexible and they have to move things around. So, like, the way that it's laid out is actually not necessarily the way that it has been planned, which is ironic, because people try and follow something to the letter, which absolutely, if you can do it, do it. But if you can't, because of X, Y, and Z, it actually doesn't matter, as long as you're consistent. And looking at the intensity factor for some of these rides, so obviously an intensity factor of 1.00 would be, let's say he was doing a 20-minute time trial on Zwift. His intensity factor might be between 1.00 and 1.05 or something like that. So a lot of the sessions are kind of in this 0.8 ballpark. And then there's a lot of sessions in this kind of 0.6 or 0.65 ballpark. And as indicated by the red dots down here, because that's your TSS per day, it's a good way to track your rest days. So you can see there's quite a structure to these. So you can see them blobbed up in twos. And there's one there, and there's one there. So there's two. There's Thursday and a Saturday, Thursday and a Saturday, Thursday and Saturday. So you get the idea. Those are closer together there, but gives you an idea of where he was slotting in those days as opposed to where the plan was. And again, it's absolutely fine if you go off the plan. You just need to make sure you're consistent, and you can work with it, because if it works for you, it's brilliant. Where was the other one? This it's a strange one. This one, the peak power for different time ranges, but it's on this. It's on this one. You can see. Trouble is that disappears, so I don't know if. Oh, that's a bit better. So, June, July, rather, is where the plan kind of overlaps. So it's not I wouldn't say like if it started on, say, July the 1st and it ended on August the 31st, that would be like a perfect spread of 2 months to get like some really good data. Now, obviously, you can analyze it a bit better on like other platforms like WKO. I'm sure Trainer Road will do it in some shape or form. But if you build the skill yourself to be able to do it just by looking at it, it can also be just as effective. So if we look at like June and July, we ignore distance because some of it's obviously done indoors. TSS is a good marker as long as FTP is set correctly, but duration is massively increased. And as Scott said earlier about the big heat wave we had in the UK, there's another one. Well, it's not quite as strong, planned for the end of August. This is probably even more impressive that like the majority of this was done indoors in the heat of the heat. And so even though you're probably gonna find that some interval sessions are hard to cope with because of the heat, it can bring some benefits. These benefits won't necessarily show themselves straight away. So it might even be worth coming back in like a month or so and looking at this then and seeing like his numbers then by the time he's adapted to see if there is any change. But you can see, so we're halfway through August now. He's done 20 hours. So he's on target to equal what he's done in the last 2 months. Same with TSS. Power numbers wise, like, well, I don't know, maybe his power meter is broken.
Like, it's too hot. It didn't register. It's too hot.
There's 900 watts. When was the last time I did 900 watts? Well, I didn't have a power meter here.
Yeah.
So the last time that was hit was in March, and that was on a big month. So it's interesting how you can make a comparison. Although big months, low TSS. Sorry, looking at kilometers, high TSS. What else we got? We got 1 minute.
And again, depends on the races as well, doesn't it? If you sort of hit those, maybe it's racing a lot then as well. And
the thing is, these could be done. These ones in August could have been done as little tests. I mean, this is the thing. Like we could theorize all day, but there's the obvious thing that stands out is the fact that there is consistency there over the last, since January, basically. There's just a solid amount of riding, and I think it's not unusual to see, especially with maybe Paul having a different stimulus with that training plan, new intervals, a bit of fun thrown in as well. I don't think it's unusual to see something keeping that trend going in the right direction. And the thing is as well, like being on a training plan in June, July there in that area, you won't necessarily see power PBs during that time. You know, I sometimes go months. Well, you take winter, for example, before Zwift racing was a thing, you'd go months and months without seeing any personal bests. And then you'd come out the other side and you'd do like a bunch of testing, or you'd go for a KOM or go for a climb that you know well outdoors, and you're like, wow, like, where's this come from? So that's the basics of doing the basics right, and we get you the results.
Phil Rich wants to know where the 5 hour power column is.
Well, that's the downside to just looking on Training Peaks, isn't it? Like,
and doing hour sessions, maybe. I don't know.
Hour sessions, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing with so many of these other platforms, like intervals. In fact, Paul Borum is on intervals. What am I talking about? Could even go over there, can't we?
Yeah, because you've shared the program or the tab, you'd have to do it on either share another tab or. I'm
just checking on another tab first.
I'm not showing that tab now. I've hid it secret because I don't want your search history popping up. I don't want to.
Is that him? Nope. The trouble is with intervals, everyone's up as an icon, unless you like. Right. Oh, he's not linked to it Strava. So, oh wait, yeah, he's got it. How do I share this then?
So you just you probably have to stop sharing that current tab, and if you share, you could share screen instead of tab. I think a couple of people, like Craig said earlier, what's the difference between Trainer Road and Training Peaks? These are the kind of questions which we obviously it's hard to answer in a comment or a quick Q&A video. I think there is a need for some things which Ed just scrolls through Training Peaks and just goes, well, this, and this. I think there is maybe a need for maybe a little series or a playlist. You guys will have to let us know if Ed does a film with you. Right, if you're looking at your powered graph, this is what I'll be looking for, and just explain a few things. We're assuming that everyone's sort of very familiar with it, and there's people that are on the training plans that have never used Training Peaks before. So potentially we can get some videos like that together. If you'd watch them, let us know. Obviously, you can email ride@backpedal.cc if you do have any video ideas or anything like that. We'll put that together. Do you want me to share that screen?
Sorry, I'd gone a bit off topic there. I was looking at one of his sessions, one of his aerobic sessions. Actually, are you still sharing?
No, not at the moment.
You're not on my screen?
No, not at the moment. I just took it down just in case you flipped on something utterly disgusting, or I was going to say looking at bike porn, but then obviously, yeah, with your bike, you don't need to worry. Just look out the corner of your eye.
Most of the sessions, like I could have a drop my screen there.
Yeah, done.
So a lot of the sessions, obviously, like on the mid volume plan, they don't often have rides as long as this. So this was 3 hours. I have a bit of a mantra when it comes to like aerobic rides. The longer you can make them, the better. I think I'd rather do like one, as long as it doesn't absolutely fry me, because that's the other thing. You get a lot of people who go out and they'll just do like a 6 hour ride, and then it'll take them like 4 days to recover from it. But if you
weeks,
weeks, yeah. If you can get yourself to the point where you can handle a 6 hour ride and do an interval session 2 days later, or have 1 day off between that and the interval session, then do 6 hour rides, because instead of thinking of it as I've got to hit X power for 3 hours or whatever it is, think about it as like my body's getting put through this aerobic training for back to back to back hours rather than back to back to back days. Now, obviously, not everybody has the availability to do a 6-hour ride. I get it. But even if you squeeze in like a 3-hour ride, it has a massive difference. And Paul's plan is just full of green. I don't think he missed.
And lots of people picked that up in the chat and said, "I would love to see mine that green."
Yeah, but it's. I think if he left it as it was uploaded, he wouldn't have managed to keep it all green. So I think part of that is him being savvy and moving things around to suit his week. But also, I think, well, don't forget, you can always tweak what's in the box to make it green.
yeah, you could. Yeah, we've all done it. We've gone back and where it's been like 40, an hour at zone 2, and you've gone a bit too hard and it's gone red, and you've gone out for an hour and a half or something, or under. Then sometimes I've gone back and just gone, I'll change it to an hour. It'll look green. So, but then that's part of the psychology of a training plan. Full stop, isn't it? It's wanting to complete those things. I assume he is on premium. Must be, is he? Training Peaks premium.
Yeah. Well, I can double check, but I think it is.
Yeah.
Intervals. Hang on, see if I can get over there now.
Okay.
1 second. Stop screen.
This is this software we're using is called StreamYard. So we'll put a link below. Use the code COM. I haven't got a code for it, but yeah, it's called StreamYard. It's quite good for stuff like this. Want to share it straight away?
Yes, might as well. Yeah. How does this look on the? Is this
really good?
Narrow?
No, yeah, it's just narrow. It's just must be your
narrow.
Yeah. Is this on your TV out of interest or your Mac?
No, it's on my Mac actually.
sorry for the pause there. Yeah, look, Sam Turton's just turned up. I see his little icon in the top left, and he's just arrived. Yeah, good timing.
So lots of people.
What are we looking at here?
This is the same as the Training Peaks performance management chart, but a bit more colorful. No, intervals. I think people who use intervals, this website, I think they can all agree that it's pretty top notch for what it is. It does need to be linked with Strava. I don't know if it can be linked with Training Peaks only. I think it pulls everything from Strava. So I might be wrong on that, but it tells you things that Training Peaks wouldn't do. Things like your ramp rate, which is pretty cool to track, because like here, the ramp rate is down here. So you can see his ramp rate, well, it's declining. As you can see, the blue line up above, training load per day, everything is declining. And as soon as he starts the plan, it's quite a big ramp to begin with. Then it settles, and it's an easier week, and then he picks it up. And so, well, you can actually see you can see 2 blocks.
Yeah.
Easier week, and then 3 blocks. This one isn't actually so big, but you would say that those 3 add up, because you can see a little dip into the red here, which ain't a problem, especially as you then come straight out of it. So yeah,
so like where you go to the start of that first green, like you said earlier, you said you don't break people into these training plans. You could I guess you could add a 10-day break-in period at the start. This is assuming you're coming into it, even the low intensity, the low volume one. You're assuming they're coming in not from scratch. These aren't from scratch training plans. Have you got any plan to do like if you've been off the bike for a while, if you have been injured, have you got a plan to sort of not a plan, but have you got an idea that you're going to create a plan to say, like me, I've been off the bike now for 4 weeks. I've got to get back into it. I want structured training, but obviously I can't go straight into a plan. What would you suggest? Would you say knock it right down on the estimated FTP to make the plans?
Yeah, an interesting. Yes, I think because we're gonna have a little mini overhaul come like October, November. So probably November. I've got to get the nationals out of the way, out of my head first. Mini overhaul of the plans, so they will be updated, or more will be added. It depends on what I see fit, but that will have to come in for sure, because there'll obviously be people who will have a bit of time off and they want to get back into it. The easy answer is ride your bike. The more specific answer is like when you're talking about FTP drop, it's quite a good one, that, because I often see, well, funny enough, wasn't from me. I'll give the credit to the people that I've coached. A number of people have come to me. They don't know each other. They've never spoken to each other in the past. They don't know each other. There was about 3 people who at different times during the year last year came to me and said, I've had all this time off. What I'm going to do is take 1 watt off my FTP for every day that I've missed.
Oh,
which can be a lot.
Yeah,
but you're better off starting low than starting high, because it doesn't take long for you to realize that it's too low.
Yeah, exactly. Within 2 rides.
Yeah, but it'll take you a long time to realize if it's too high.
Okay.
In my opinion,
it'd take you 2 weeks of overtraining to realize that it's too high.
Potentially.
Yeah. So start low. So yeah, do drop it down and then start low and do that. Okay. So I might try that then for this coming week. So that would be a nice little tester. So every day I've had off the bike, so 390 take away. So no, I'll do that then. I'll have my estimated FTP from before I stopped, when you ruined me, and I still managed to drop you on a sprint. I'll do that then in the week. I'll do that this week and then do that and I'll check back in with you, coach. And why not just test? That's a good question. Ian Carter said, why not just test? I think, well, I'm a little bit different. 2 days, one day I'll go up the stairs and be out of breath. One day I won't and feel good, which is why I was struggling with the sort of consistency. I need to wake up and go, I could do a good session today or I can't. Why wouldn't you just test there? Was it because you're just getting back onto the bike and it's kind of, I don't know, I just feel it's a bit, my physiology and stuff isn't going to give me a good score. And like you said, I pretty much know within a couple of rides where I am at anyway.
So when you talk about why not just test, you're talking about, like,
I guess if you've had a break, so I've had a break for 4 weeks now, I want to get back into consistent training. I guess, like we just said about what you do is either take off. Why wouldn't I do a Zwift FTP test tomorrow?
Well, a couple of reasons. 1, you won't be motivated to do it. 2, you'll do rubbish. 3,
be sore lungs for tomorrow, for the next day.
Well,
I think deep motivation, isn't it? I think you'll be.
It's going to tell you what you already know. It's going to tell you that it's lower than what it was, and therefore, whenever I've had a bit of time, like I was so reluctant to do that FTP test at the start of January, and it was 305.
Yeah.
But I'm a special case because when you've been at 380 watt FTP, you need to then test because the drop is going to be so substantial. Like if you are riding at a 200 watt FTP, sounds bad to say, but there's only so low it's going to go.
With the biggest, the percentage of, it's like
Yeah, the percentage
you're
drop.
right. Yeah, the percentage of drop is it's like you adding a kilo on is a bit different to me adding a kilo on in the winter, isn't it? It's like I can do that in a day, and compared to the rest of my body weight, but for a kilo is a lot of 3 kilos for you, and actually my percentage of being 100 kilos, it's 3% of my body weight. It's not that much of a, you know.
And accurate numbers are better than better numbers.
Yeah. Which is hard for cyclists with, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe before everyone sees it on Strava and they're gonna see it. And again, John's just said there with the training plan. I mean, that's the thing. I think people sort of see with a training plan that it is all about how many. I've had people sort of go, how many FTP? How many? How will my FTP grow after I've done the thing? It's just like the plan. It's like, well, it's not about that. Although Paul, I don't know if you did say, Paul has had a good rise on his FTP. If he had a bad day and didn't produce that day, and I think he put on 12 or 14 watts on his FTP.
I think, I'm trying to have a look. Keep going.
Yeah. So like John's put here, he's had 3 weeks off the plan. So lapse time has been 11 to 12 weeks. My fitness score is about the same because of this, 20 lost points. But I'm way stronger because of the plan. Defo not just about the numbers. And I think that is such a big thing with with your ethos of cycling anyway. You are a bit more, I don't want to say holistic in the approach, but I guess it is a bit more like that than the real scientific stuff. Kev Stephen says, me and you will just have to eat, Scott. Know what's needed. Right, so I don't know there if you've missed a comma out. If you've missed a comma after me and you will just have to eat, Scott. So me and you, Scott, will have to eat, know what's needed, or you and Ed will have to eat me. I don't know which way around that is. 4 weeks off Sam Turton, 4 weeks off Scott, and you could still leave me for dust. Not fast enough to ride with you. You'd be surprised, Nat, which is why I kind of had Ed came down and I was feeling great. I was going to smash it. And then a few days later after a TT, probably went a bit too deep in the TT, as you guys know. And Nat was literally dropping me on the flattest road possible. And I kind of had that mindset of, I've been speaking to Piglet about it as well, who's staying with us at the moment, saying that it did bring back some bad memories. But also, we've been doing more reading up, and potentially that could be a side effect of the pills as well. So I'm there thinking it's scarred lungs that's caused me the issue. It might just be that I have these bad days, and that is, about demotivation as well, about the testing. So a good score or the right FTP, and Ed will say it's accurate numbers every day over a good score. We've all been guilty. I think was it 348 was my max FTP 340 something. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. All I was interested was improving that. What's important is the accurate numbers.
We do hope that the plans they're not just about.
Well, Katie's put here, Ed. This is probably what I think. I'm mentally stronger as well as physically.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's a little bit to do as well with like the community. I'm really excited to see what happens when I start Zwift racing again, and not just Zwift racing, but like riding online with, because the majority of people in the community are riding online on Zwift, and my hope is that this winter everybody's like another notch up, and I'll be a spoiler, but I'm going to be slotting in one Zwift race a week soon, as the temperature is getting cooler now and hill climb season is approaching. It's something that I've stayed away from for a couple of months because I know that it's very good for me. I respond quite well to it. So it's interesting as well that some people haven't been doing any Zwift racing for like 6 to 8 weeks on these plans. So, that's another thing. But the community side of it, my hope is that people holding themselves accountable, or there's people on similar plans, and there's a little bit of like, oh, I can do more, or I can do better.
I've love seeing it when like the Katie's like I'm maybe a week behind someone, and or Phil did a stream, didn't he? And then or a video about it, and then I think Kay said, oh, I've got this one coming up next week, and and just seeing how other people are. When you did those like Saturday afternoon joint like training sessions, I'd like to maybe fire those back up. You did them for the the Bolt stuff, but like I'd like to do that because that was brilliant, and I think I mean we're all on the elastic band, but I think they were great, and lots of people sort of said to me
that dreaded elastic band.
but that's the kind of thing. It's like normally, from a psychology point of view, I'd hate that about elastic band and going. There's nothing worse than going 400 watts and going like 4 miles an hour, and but like because you're all doing it together and you're seeing names pop up. That is the fastest hour I've ever done. So, okay. Ian Carson said, "We'll wrap this. Are you happy that you sort of give us a good overview of Paul's thing there?" I purposely asked Paul if we could go through it, purposely not asked him to come on as well, because I thought it was really interesting to get your overview without him sort of saying things like how he felt it is. And I want to sort of maybe, or get Katie, if Katie wants to come on, and potentially John and Paul, and just fill us in. And yes. we can get everyone in. We can have up to 10 people, I think, on here. So it'll be quite interesting.
You can do it on your phone as well, can't you? So you
can do it on your phone as long as you've got like a set of headphones, ideally. So yeah, and it's really simple. Even Ed, I can invite Ed to a stream, and he can come on. He comes on about 4 seconds to go, and then goes, "Hold on, boy, I'll be back in a minute." Ian said, "Hey, Scott, your motivation will come from getting the sessions done." They definitely will. And as Ed said, just riding your bike. And when I start riding my bike, I've had some plans with, this isn't about me, but like I've had some chats with Nat, and the plan is that I will then lower my video output to make some room for the bike as well. So I have to. John's doing his first race today, so good luck, John. Let us know how you get on. We'll be looking at that one. The process is motivating from Ian. Katie said that session I did last week after Phil was so hard. But and that's it. I just loved you watching Phil. You know, just I don't think I even maybe commented or liked it, but you just see these kind of things. And Kev Steve says I really enjoyed them as well. So yeah, and again, any little videos that you want us to record or go through, obviously. Hopefully in a few weeks' time, we'll be looking at my training plan, my training peaks, and going, wow, you've got all green.
Wow, that would be a miracle.
Wow.
No, yeah. Let's have some goals, innit?
Yeah. Not to get dropped by Bullet at the hill climb. I've left it too late. That's not going to happen. But yeah.
Well, as long as you don't do any panic training.
When I did the Tour of Wessex, which is a 3-day event, 3-day sportive, 100 miles a day, second day's 120 miles. I think I was coming back from an Achilles injury. I think I had 10 days to get fit for it. I did it on 10 days of training. So a couple of people always say to me, "Oh, I'm on the Scott Hewish ebook, Tour of Wessex ebook, how to get fit." So what's Bullets PB up Porlock Hill? Well, what we'll do, Ed, what I thought would be a nice little video or a little live chat. Maybe we can have a little chat about Porlock Hill and see about what you're planning, and have a chat about the whole weekend as well, and maybe look at some of the backpedalers' best times up there, look at Phil's best time. And what I want to do, obviously wind is a big thing up Porlock Hill, as you know, and it can be, if you got a huge tailwind, you could get a com up there easy. So I don't know, what is it? What would it be? 30? It could actually.
Someone's gonna need a hurricane to beat that KOM now.
I'm still going. That's one of my goals. You've got one segment up there I'm going to take off you, and I've gone for it. Obviously, I've gone from it on video. It's definitely got my name all over it. So watch out. But what I'd like to do, I know the wind can make almost. I've had 30. Obviously, it's a local hill. I can go and do it when I want. It's 30 seconds, I think, a tailwind can make on that climb, which is huge when you're putting that effort in to get that kind of PB up there. I would like to see you estimate everyone's time that's entered the all the backpedalers that have entered.
Poor.
After me estimating Piglet's time trial, 10-mile time trial within 10 seconds. So start putting some thought into that, coach. He's already thinking now, isn't he? He's on the whiteboard. The whiteboard is coming out. I would
definitely use Mr. Lovett's and Piglet's times as benchmarks, and Bullet's as well. Well, yours as well, actually, if I can include you in it.
I'll be lucky if I get double that. So yeah, and Sam's just put, oh my God, pressure. Obviously, you've got benchmark times for us, but people like Sam, it'll be interesting just to see how close you get. Obviously, on the day, if it's a howling headwind, we'll let you off. We'll maybe let you off a few seconds here or there, but it'll be interesting going into it. You knowing, especially Sam's weight and everything like that. You know my blood pressure, my glucose levels, and my what else goes into my temperature as well. Everything goes into Training Peaks, so we'll see how close you get. Katie's ready to smash her 60-30s now. Good luck, Katie, and
nice one.
Keep it up. Anything else before we go, Coach? Anything coming out this weekend that's not video related, but anything new on the Backpedal website?
I thought it was secret.
Oh, I thought we were going to say to them it will be on at the weekend, so keep your eyes open. Did you not get my notes?
It will be on Sunday. The British Hill Climb training plan, and this won't just be British Hill Climb Championship training plan. It'll just be British Hill Climb season training plan. But it would set you in good stead for Winners Pass if you were to do that. Lots of sessions revolving around improving that 3 to 8 minute power range, and yeah, it's pretty polarized actually. It's pretty polarized, so I wouldn't be surprised if Mr. Lovett got on it, even though he's not doing the National Hill Climb Championships.
Would like Bullet's obviously not either, but so this is the plan that 3 of the guys have won. Dan Woods, Bullet, and Liam Wilson. So 3 people. We gave 3 away because I drew Bullet's name out of a hat, and I just couldn't be bothered with the thicks. So Dan Woods, Liam Wilson, and Bullet Bell, and they were all on this plan. They were the first 3 on it, and so it will be on the weekend, and we are going to have a 20% discount if you buy it this weekend, because no one else has bought this one yet. So we'll have a discount at the weekend. So keep your eyes on the Strava page, the Facebook page. We'll let you know when it's up there. I've just got to do some magic and put my RSI wrist strap back on, which everyone keeps laughing at me, and bash it out. So we will have a discount code, so we'll put that up. Katie's going to get a small refund for that's her second one. So we want to thank everyone that was on those first set of things there. And Paul Borum is obviously going to get a discount because he just wants to buy. He just wants to buy every plan. he wants a discount for everything. So, and I don't think it's any. Potentially one day we might turn this into. The model is probably potentially to turn it into a subscription base where we give you a load of exclusive content and load of behind the scenes stuff exclusive to the backpedalers, and then you'll have access to multiple training plans and you'll be able to add them into your Training Peaks and stuff like that. So bear with us, lots of exciting news to come.
Awesome.
And Phil Rich, good thing to finish on. Put the RSI wrist strap on and bash it out. I was bashing. Oh yeah, no, it wasn't the bashing out that caused the RSI. It's the 118th daily vlog, which won't be lasting that much longer, if I'm honest. So Ed said you've got to get back on the bike, otherwise you're out of Backpedal.
Yeah. Solo.
Ed, what's the video you want me to link up at the end of this video?
Not my bike video.
You had enough of that. Have you replied to everyone? I've got a YouTube channel sharing all my YouTube tips and how to go viral. And I've told Ed, reply to your comments, and he's just like, I can't.
I'm not
Well,
replying to those comments.
I think that's what he's saying. Yeah.
I'm not replying to those comments. Only the nice ones I reply to.
Can I? You need to learn from Phil a bit.
Well, maybe if I was, maybe I could answer comments while I was out riding my bike, but unfortunately, I have to kind of concentrate for 4 hours a day riding my bike. So
yeah.
I could sacrifice sleep.
Yeah, no, don't sacrifice sleep. I finished uploading about. We've still got no doors on the bedrooms, and the Piglet and Nat are in the bedrooms. I'm there sneaking around with my iPhone at 1:30 after I've uploaded behind the comm. So, yeah, it's good.
Why don't you go to bed earlier and then get up earlier and then upload it?
The trouble is, I'm still getting up early. Well, because I finished editing, so we went out. I didn't do a time trial. Everyone did a time trial last night, and then came back in, edited it. 1:30, I went to bed. I uploaded it, did the thumbnail, went to bed. Got up at 6, started replying to comments. Did a YouTube short, did a Instagram short on Scott Hewish YouTube channel, whatever I'm calling that. I need to get a sleep measurer and put on my bed so you can see that in Training Peaks as well.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it would register, would it?
No, hopefully it doesn't register anything else.
Your head hits the pillow and then, I gotta get up.
Ding ding. Yeah, no, I do need to catch up on some sleep because I'm looking as old as you at the moment, looking weathered.
You can't catch up on sleep. It's a scientific fact.
I'm screwed. I am screwed. Right, I'm going out for a bike ride, Ed. Yeah, that's why I wear glasses. I don't even need glasses. I'm going out for a bike ride. Me and Piglet. Join us on Behind the Comm. Me and Piglet are going out for a bike ride. Come and see that. I don't know when, tomorrow or Sunday, and we'll see you soon. All right, Ed, thanks for the chat.
Go easy on him.
Yeah, before we go though, can I